25 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. If you think about your very first job, I was looking at some young people working at a sandwich shop the other day, and I was thinking that, oh man, I remember those days. It wasn't so bad. We always look down at that kind of a job, but I guess it's something we've all gone through, right? Those kind of jobs, and then we just take it from there. We build our lives and do something, whether we enter management or we do something else, like a radio show. I guess that's what happened to me. If you are looking for a job or know somebody who is looking for a job, CareerSource, Citrus, Levy, Marion has you covered. Not only is it free, but they have so many jobs to tell you about, and they're not just jobs, they are truly careers. In the studio right now, Dale French from CareerSource, and Dale's guest is Noreen. Am I saying it right?
Noreen Salatino.
Salatino. Good morning, Noreen. Good morning, Dale. Good to see you, Dale.
Morning.
How you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Have I met you before?
No, this is my first time.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And you're both with CareerSource, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to learn about some jobs?
Learn about all kinds of stuff today.
All kinds of stuff?
Yeah. But,
What is the biggest misconception people have about what you do? Is that
probably not so much a misconception about what we do, just that we exist, honestly.
You know what I run into? When I find somebody who needs a job, I always say, go to CareerSource. Oh, I tried that. No, you didn't. I don't know what you did, but you didn't do CareerSource.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost as if, and I hate to be negative, but I think once in a while, negative is accurate. I think sometimes people just don't want a job. You say go to CareerSource. Oh, I tried that. I can't believe you would go to CareerSource and not find something. That's what I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah, there's a lot out there right now. I mean, you look at our unemployment. We're getting back to the time where the businesses we work with, they're not screaming yet, but they're gonna be
Screaming for more help?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. How do you know that in advance?
You can watch the unemployment rate drop. The last time I remember, the lowest unemployment I remember my time being here, we were right around 2.8, and I want to say that was 2004, 2005. And I was working in the business services unit at the time, working one-on-one with businesses, and it was really there. At that point in time, they were just poaching back and forth from each other, and it was, well, we'll pay you 25 cents more an hour, we'll pay you 50 cents more an hour, and people were just going back and forth between businesses.
That's good,
and,
right?
Oh, it's good. It drives the wages. We love that.
Yeah.
But you fix one problem here, and you just caused another one here. It's going to get difficult. As long as the economy keeps going the way it's going, unemployment continues to drop, it's going to get difficult. And the businesses, we have a lot of businesses that are hiring. They see it coming too.
Do you have the clientele that are the younger clientele? Do they have a different approach to how they want to find work as opposed to somebody who's up in age?
Yeah. We've tailored our services a lot. We have an electronic side of the house, and you have the face-to-face side of the house. Yeah, we still have our brick and mortars. We've got our offices in the 3 counties, but we've also tailored a lot of our services to online.
Okay, so the
younger people, if they can get it through their cell phone, that's what they want.
But how does that?
Not that I necessarily think that that's the best approach, but
and I was going to say, wouldn't it be necessary to meet the employee if you're the employer?
One of the problems when you look at one of the biggest complaints with businesses isn't necessarily hard skills. It's soft skills.
Yeah, I would imagine.
They're looking for the right person.
Right.
And unfortunately, if you're the type of person that only wants to go through the electronic process, right there's your...
I hear what you're saying, yeah.
That's where you start running into that gap, that one-on-one, the personal, being able to talk to people, being able to...
And I wonder if that constant use of our phones for everything is having that kind of an effect on those people who do that. Are their soft skills not being developed simply because they don't talk to people? Well,
a lot of it, communication skills. You look at how people text versus how they talk, and same thing with email. It takes out all of the personal element.
Yeah,
you can text or email or go through any of the news feeds and read the comments that people can post anonymously.
Yeah.
You start seeing the real trouble with humanity at times, because it's just so impersonal. You don't feel that you're the human element isn't there.
Yeah.
You can say and do just about anything you want.
Yeah.
So, but the personal approach, that is what businesses are looking for. They want to hire somebody, and they want to know that the biggest thing is that they're going to be a good employee, fit the culture, and that they can train them to do the job.
And is that what you do, Noreen, as the readiness coach?
Well, I'm actually a little bit new to workforce. I've been with CareerSource for about 5 years, but I've been in the finance department, so I'm kind of getting broken in as a job readiness coach. Yeah. And we do try to help professionals connect with employment by working on their resume and helping them with interview skills and help them with their job search.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, and there's been a couple times where I was looking for some customer support or whatever, and I have a choice on the computer. I can call the phone number, or I can click on this thing and a little box will show up, and now I'm communicating with my customer service person. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine...
Through a chat box.
And so the young person who is, well, it doesn't have to be a young person, but the person who is more comfortable with that as their soft skills have to... You know what I mean? It has to apply to that little box that we read, the good mornings and the hellos and the thank yous, they must all be part of that. Right? Yeah,
and and again, though, you're missing so much when that's the only way you communicate.
Yeah, right. But I'm wondering if there's a job like maybe you're talking to somebody and they're really good with that. Would there be a job at Ocala doing that?
Actually, we've talked about getting the chat feature for Talent Center, which is the actual building that I work in. We have the chat feature for CareerSource, and for some people it is just more convenient to get a quick answer immediately without having to call someone.
Yeah. Well, you have a company that you bring in every now and then, and that's their job is to bring tech support, right?
Yeah,
yes.
we work with several.
I can't remember the company's name now. But
several call centers in the area actually that we work with, but there's still that one-on-one. It's still on the phone, so that you have to have a combination. But we do, and we have staff on our chat, our website. You can go on there, and there's a chat box. And sometimes that works great. If it's just a quick question, what are your hours? Are you open tomorrow? Mm-hmm. That stuff's fine. But really preparing for a job, getting yourself ready to go out on an interview, to sit down, shake hands, talk, and really be able to market yourself. That's still the personal approach.
And sometimes people need a job right now. It might not be what their goal in life is, but they need a job to put food on the table, pay their rent, pay their electricity. How do you help that person get work right away for that, and then have them groom themselves for the next step up when they're ready?
Well, a lot of people do come in and they're like, hey, I lost my job. I need to find something. I've got to have a paycheck right now. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of opportunities. You were talking when we opened up about the deli counter and things like that. There's a lot of jobs that aren't going to be your end-all be-all job, but they're a job right now to cover your bills.
Just to get something, yeah.
And we'll sit down and help people and coach them and say, look, here's what some opportunities are out there now that you can go get. But let's not end our conversation now. Let's look a little bit further down the future. What we can do when you come in and work with me is we'll start looking for that next step. This step is, you can handle this. You got this at this point. What do we have to do to move you back into a more sustainable job?
Right. I was watching, I was looking at, do you know BuzzFeed? Are you familiar with BuzzFeed? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was looking at, they had some crazy answers on resumes, or crazy resume things, and I was wondering, it was the 8 typical mistakes people make when looking for a job, and one of them was dress. How you're dressed.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if when people come to CareerSource, do they think, well, this isn't the actual employer, so I can be sloppy?
Oh yeah.
Does that happen?
Oh yes.
And how,
every day.
What do you think about that?
They don't realize that we host businesses in our offices sometimes on a daily basis that come in to hold recruiting events. You never know who's going to be there when you walk in.
Yeah.
And you never know what position. You could walk in and Noreen could say, hey, I just got off the phone with X business and they need to hire somebody right away. You've got the skills. Take your resume, go.
Oh my gosh.
Come back and see me in an hour, but you need to go now.
You better change your clothes.
Right. If you're wearing your house slippers and Probably not the
Do
best.
you actually come right out and tell them that? You better get something
Yeah, you
nicer on?
have to soft approach it. Noreen and I were talking about that to start with. But, we do have to have those difficult conversations with people, and it's not...
Isn't it crazy that they don't realize that? Seems common sense.
It seems common sense, but again, society changes, expectations change, and generationally, there's expectations of what businesses should look for. If you're an old school person like I am, you're going to be looking for something different than
probably
the younger generation coming in. They're looking for something different. So,
And what made you, Noreen, change from finance to a more hands-on approach with clients?
Actually, I was presented with the opportunity, and I really liked the idea of working more closely with people, because I had been kind of like isolated at the administrative office.
Numbers,
yeah. And then it was great. It was a great opportunity, but I'm more of a people person, so the opportunity to get out and, take part of what the actual mission of what CareerSource does was appealing to me.
Well, what we've learned all these years, I guess, from Laura and Dale is that CareerSource, the name is really accurate. It's really about a career, not just a job, not just something to hold you over, but something that you might have for the rest of your life, or at least the next 10 or 20 years, right?
Right. Our end game is to help you find what you want to do. Again, the job you may need today probably isn't the job you want to be doing 5, 10, 15 years down the road.
Do you represent both government and private sector jobs?
All businesses, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure about that.
Public, private, everybody.
So when a person does come in for that, do they tell you if they want to work in the private sector or the public sector?
Yeah, we do a lot of exploration with somebody when we sit down with them and really find out where they're coming from and what they're looking for. And once you start finding out what their personality is, what their wants are, what their skill sets are, and where they want to go, then we can kind of say, okay, you may want to look at a job in this field, or you may want to look over here, depending on your personality, your expectations, and how you want to work.
And do you have the starting pay for all of the jobs that the people are applying for? Is that taboo to have something like that at that point?
Some businesses will put it out there, others don't. You get into that competition. If you and I are trying to hire the same person, and I know that my wages may be a little bit lower, then I don't put it out there, because I don't want to have somebody look at it and go, okay, no, I'm not interested in that. Not when I can go over here for that. So sometimes you do get that when you get into the competition, and especially, where we're at now, a lot of times the wages aren't posted.
From the employee's perspective, they have that one line on the application, how much do you want to make, right? Do you guide them with that? I mean, how do you answer that question?
Well, be honest with yourself. If you're applying for a job and you know what you have to make, you know what your bills are, you know what you need to survive, and if that job's not going to do that, then maybe it isn't the right job for you. So, my recommendation would be honest, but be realistic.
Oh, okay. So do you sometimes have people come into you and say, look, I need to make $80,000 a year?
Oh, yeah.
And then you say, well, here's the jobs that do that, right? Yeah. And are they here in Marion County and Citrus County? Marion, Citrus, and Levy, right?
Yep. Yeah. The jobs are out there. Noreen works in our professional arm that works strictly with the professional level candidates, and the jobs are out there. It's just a matter of what we do, and that's trying to connect the career seekers with the right job.
And how does that work when they come to CareerSource and then you say, here's the job available? And they say, okay, I want to try for this. Do you call that employer then and give them a heads up that this person is coming over, or how does that work?
We do it both ways. Depends what the business wants. Some businesses say, look, guys, you take care of it. We don't want 100 people walking through our door. Send us the best 3 candidates you have.
Yeah, right.
And that's one of the functions we do to help the businesses. Others say, bring them on. We want to see everybody. So again, it's and we'll coach the job candidate on how that business wants, because there's nothing worse than going in and applying after they've specifically said they don't want you doing it a certain way.
Oh.
If they say in their job listing that you have to apply online or you have to submit a resume, don't start calling them.
So once in a while on an application or a job advertisement, you'll see a degree or equals experience or something of that nature, right? How do you measure that? I mean, a degree is easy. You have the degree or you don't. But if an employer is saying we want somebody with a bachelor's degree or 3 years of experience in the same business, right? Is that common?
Yeah, well, and that's a talk we have to have with the businesses. And one of the things that Noreen's going to talk a little bit about today, one of the job fairs we have coming up, is we're starting to see the shift where when I first came to the area and working with businesses, it was, we want a bachelor's degree, we want a master's degree for so many jobs that I didn't understand why they would want that. But they wanted to set a certain bar for the candidates that they were looking at. Right. We're starting to get into an environment now where really the technical fields, the hands-on fields are becoming more and more popular, and the businesses are realizing that maybe the college degree is not as valuable as the skill sets
the experience,
you possess.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the programs that we're doing now, a lot of the training programs and working, a lot of the things we do working with the businesses is we're starting to see a major shift into the skilled trades.
Wow. And how do you test for that? Is there a way? Like if somebody says, oh, I'm really good with whatever, and I've done it for 3 years or 10 years or whatever, how do you test to make sure they are?
We do have prove-it testing.
Yeah, we do have
What
assessments. It's a assessment program called Prove It.
Oh, okay.
We have 3,500 different assessments where we can say, okay, if you say you know electrical, you go into these assessments and there's schematics and there's what's a capacitor, what's
I
different
would fail that one.
Oh yeah, I never.
That wouldn't be good for me.
I hate tests. But a lot of it too, our staff, we try to centralize our staff so that they can be focused on a specific industry. So the staff become familiar. So I can sit down with you and say, hey, okay, you're wiring. Tell me a little bit about what you've done. What type of wiring have you done? What type of components, if you're in the electrical or circuit board, what have you worked with? And I should be able to talk to you a little bit and go, okay, yeah, they do know what they're talking about, or I can go, okay, you're flat out BS. So.
Yeah.
And is that what you stress in the job fairs that you're going to be talking about, Noreen?
Yes. Well, one of the things we're doing now, it's kind of a combination of what we have going on. Noreen's working with me in a grant that we recently received for the skilled trades to focus in advanced manufacturing, construction, and commercial truck driving. And so we actually have some classes, and before we wrap up today, I'll go into that a little bit, what we have coming up. But Noreen has a job fair coming up.
Yeah, it's
soon.
June 14th.
Ah, okay. Flag Day.
Yeah.
And where's it going to be?
It's going to be at the College of Central Florida.
Okay.
At the Klein Center.
Okay. And what do we need to know? What kind of jobs will be represented?
Various construction industry positions, line assembler, sales zone managers, equipment operators, truck drivers, and laborers.
Oh, okay.
For a variety of businesses, or just one particular business for the job fair?
For a variety of businesses will be there.
They're all going to be on site?
At the Klein Center, yes.
So when the people come to apply, when they go to the job fair, should they have their resume in their hand?
They should. It's this is a construction-based job fair. We're having a lot of the local contractors and builders have reached out to us, and we've been working with them for several months. We're really seeing a crunch in the construction industry across all occupations. Mm-hmm. It's been coming for the last couple of years, again, as the economy's come back. Building is going on, development's going on. Having the hurricane come through last year certainly didn't help when a lot of rebuilding and repairs to be done there. So this job fair is going to be really based on all occupations in the construction field. So I will say this, when you get into the construction field, a lot of people don't have resumes. Mm-hmm. And
I was wondering about that. Yeah, I was wondering.
And there isn't always the expectation that they're going to have one.
So, okay, could you enter, like, let's say as a truck driver, for example, and then just climb the ladder? And could you, once you get your foot in the door, is it possible to?
Oh, yeah. So many businesses, again, you start looking at, they want to find good talent that fit their corporate culture, that they can work with.
Right.
And then from there, train them and move them up into other positions. Once you've got a good person, you don't want to lose them.
And what time will the job fair be?
It starts at 4:30 and it'll run from until 6:30.
Oh, okay. So you're going to be able to accommodate the people that have jobs right now that are looking for something else.
Yes.
This is
What
excellent.
kind of a license do you need to drive a truck? What is it called? A C something?
CDL.
CDL? Okay.
There's A, B, and C. There's the 3 different levels of driving based on the size of the equipment and the functionality of the equipment.
I had a license, and I don't remember what it was, and I was working for an assisted living facility, and the sister facility had a bus, and so I thought, I could drive that bus and take everybody to the theater. I could take them to the mall. Come on, let's go. So I would borrow the bus, and then I would drive them like here to the mall, or I would drive them to the there was a
College,
there was a concert at the college.
Concert at the college.
And then I found out I didn't have the right license. I drove the bus 3 times.
Yeah, it used to be, in Florida, it was a D, which was considered the chauffeur's license. They don't have that anymore. Florida did away with it. So you could drive that bus now.
Isn't it crazy that you can drive a big RV with a regular license?
Yeah,
Isn't it
and
crazy?
technically you're supposed to have, by size and weight of the vehicles, most of them, from what I understand, you should have a class, I believe it's a Class B license.
Oh, really?
Because of the size and weight, yeah.
You know, so many rules. Like the rule meister.
And are you also
Right.
looking for businesses to sign up for this particular job fair?
Yes, it's starting to get a little bit towards where I'm not sure if Katie Jo's reached her capacity yet for employers. But you definitely want to contact us first. There's a registration link that we can send.
Okay, and then what phone number can they call, or
352-840-5758. That's my direct line.
oh, okay, excellent.
So if somebody was listening today and they said, I'm going to go get my CDL license, but maybe June 14th they won't have it yet. If they went to an employer and said, look, I'm working on it, could they be considered a potential employee?
That business may have another job that they could do
Until they got the license.
until they got the license, which is a good segue to our next line, because part of the grant that we're working with this construction grant is CDL training.
Oh, okay.
And we've been working closely with the Marion County School Board for probably a year and a half now. We don't have a local CDL training program in this area.
Really?
The College of Central Florida used to do it. They got out of it. And we haven't had it. So people that wanted training, the closest is Sanford or Orlando.
Oh, wow.
And we do help people with that, with the tuition. But the school board has created a CDL program locally that's going to start on, I don't have the date off the top of my head, but I believe it's in middle of August, to train CDL A and B drivers. And it's going to be an 8-week course.
Oh, wow.
With the grant that we actually have the funds to help cover the tuition costs. And Noreen's been 100 phone calls a day dealing with it.
Oh, really?
Not as much. It's slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Recently.
So we've got, with that kicking off, we're going to start looking at enrolling folks over the summer for that program to start in August.
Oh, that's wonderful. So then on Thursday, June 14th, you're going to have the job fair starting at 4:30 p.m. at the Klein Center at
For the
the
construction.
College of Central Florida.
Yeah.
And there will be
Okay.
a lot of contractors there who are working on the Veterans Parkway. That are
okay.
extending that parkway through Citrus County. So
Right,
some of those,
right, yeah.
some of those
So
contractors.
you
will
need
be on
laborers
site.
too, not just skilled, but you can use laborers also
And
at this
was
job
in,
fair.
That was in the news this morning, yeah. I guess some people don't want to see that built, but I think it's probably going to happen, and there's probably a lot of work associated with that road, right? Yeah. So if you are out there and you know somebody who needs a job, write down CareerSourceCLM.com. Is that right?
Correct.
Or just go down to their offices. Dale, tell me where you are.
We are at the corner of 14th Street, Bonnie Heath Boulevard, and 25th Avenue. We're right across from the Harveys, used to be the old Winn-Dixie, but we're right across the street from there. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We work on a walk-in basis. You don't need an appointment, so just come down and see us.
And if I could just brag about what you guys do, I mean, you will even take somebody who's kind of needs a little rough around the edges, needs a little help. You'll help smooth out those edges and make
Yeah,
them
we can soften those edges.
a little bit ready.
As long as they're willing to work
They
with us.
have to be willing,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So if if you know somebody, tell them about CareerSource. Share this video with them, and then they'll have a job and be happier.
Well, certainly.
And if a person wants to go to the job fair, do they have to register with CareerSource first, or can they just show up?
They can come to the job fair. We can do a quick registration with them when they get there if they're not pre-registered. But again, if they're looking for work, we'd like to have them, come in and see us or go to our website and get registered and start looking at other jobs before the 14th.
Noreen Salatino, thank you for coming in. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And Dale French, good to see you again.
Good to see you, sir.
Keep up the good work. We'll take a little break. We'll be right back. This is WOCA Ocala.